The concept of angels has always been both fascinating and perplexing, a subject of great mystery and wonder. They are not mere figments of our imagination, but creatures that occupy a space between us and the divine, a realm of unknowns that are both comforting and intimidating in their very existence. In the quiet moments of our lives, when we feel lost or uncertain, there lingers a sense that there may be more, something unseen yet powerful, that holds the world together. This is the enigma of angels. Angels are often depicted as celestial beings who serve as messengers who carry messages from the heavens to humankind. While this image is not without merit, it only scratches the surface of what angels truly represent. The idea of angels in most religious and philosophical traditions goes far beyond the simple role of delivering divine messages. These beings, whose existence lies in a space beyond the physical and into the realm of the divine, are not merely messengers in the conventional sense. They are messengers of purpose, manifestations of a higher plan, and reflections of a greater truth than we, in our limited human understanding, could ever fully comprehend. Angels are not confined to the role of an intermediary between the divine and humanity. They also act as symbols of the deep mysteries of the universe. They embody not only the wisdom of the divine, but also the eternal nature of the universe itself. In many traditions, angels represent an aspect of divinity that transcends the limitations of time and space. The messages they carry are not limited to simple instructions or directives, but encompass a far-reaching understanding of existence. They bring with them the timeless truths of the universe, truths that elude our grasp due to our limitations as human beings, bound by time and the constraints of our perception. Angels remind us of the greater purpose to which we are all connected, a purpose that exists beyond the physical world, beyond our everyday concerns and distractions. To view angels as mere messengers is to misunderstand their true nature. While they may indeed carry messages from the divine, their role extends far beyond that of an intermediary. They embody the very essence of the divine order, carrying within them the echoes of creation itself. They're not simply messengers, but active participants in the unfolding of the cosmic plan. Their existence serves as a reminder that there is a greater design at work in the universe, one that transcends the limitations of our earthly understanding. What angels represent, in essence, is the bridge between the human and the divine, the physical and the metaphysical. Their very being is a reflection of a higher reality, a realm of existence that we can only glimpse in moments of clarity and transcendence. They exist to remind us that we are part of a larger cosmic order, one that is beyond our comprehension, yet intimately connected to our lives. Through their presence, we are given a glimpse of the divine, a reminder that there is something greater than ourselves at work in the world. In many traditions, angels are seen as symbols of divine guidance. They are the bearers of messages that help us navigate the complexities of life, pointing us in the direction of truth, righteousness, and purpose. However, the messages they bring are not always straightforward or easy to understand. They are often shrouded in mystery, requiring us to engage in deep contemplation and reflection to uncover their meanings. This, in itself, is a reflection of the higher purpose angels represent. The messages they carry are not meant to be easily grasped, but are intended to guide us toward a deeper understanding of our place in the world and our relationship with the divine. In many ways, angels challenge us to rise above the limitations of our human nature. They remind us that we are not simply physical beings, bound by the constraints of time and space. We are spiritual beings, capable of reaching beyond the confines of our earthly existence to connect with something greater. Angels, in this sense, are not merely guides, but also challengers, calling us to stretch beyond our understanding and embrace the mysteries of the divine. They invite us to open our hearts and minds to the higher truths they embody, truths that lie beyond the visible world and that require us to transcend our ordinary perception. And to look, the role of angels, then, is not simply to offer comfort or deliver messages. They are active participants in the divine plan, guiding and challenging us to embrace a deeper understanding of existence. Through their influence, we are reminded that there is more to life than what we can see with our eyes or understand with our minds. Angels invite us to look beyond the material world, to see the underlying spiritual forces that shape our lives and the world around us. They remind us that there is a higher purpose at work, a purpose that is not always immediately apparent, but that can be discerned through careful reflection and spiritual insight. In many ways, angels represent the eternal wisdom of the universe, wisdom that is not bound by time or space, but is present throughout all of creation. They are not merely messengers of divine truth, but embodiments of that truth itself. Their very existence points to a higher order, one that transcends the limitations of human understanding. They are not simply beings of light and beauty, but living symbols of the deeper mysteries of the cosmos, mysteries that we are all called to explore and understand. Angels also serve as a reminder that we are not alone in our journey. In the midst of the trials and struggles of life, it can often feel as though we are isolated, separated from the divine and from each other. Yet, the presence of angels reminds us that there is always a connection between us and the divine, a connection that is not dependent on our physical senses, but is felt in the deepest recesses of our soul. Angels are not distant, unreachable beings, but are intimately connected to our lives, guiding us through the challenges we face and leading us toward the fulfillment of our higher purpose. The presence of angels in our lives is not always overt or dramatic. Often, their influence is subtle, a quiet whisper in the depths of our hearts, or a fleeting thought that directs us toward a higher path. Yet, it is precisely this subtlety that makes their presence so powerful. Angels do not seek recognition or glory. They are not concerned with the accolades or praise of human beings. Their purpose is far greater than our earthly desires. They exist to fulfill a divine plan, one that is far beyond our understanding, and they guide us gently toward that plan. The messages of angels are not always easily understood, and their presence may not always be immediately apparent, but through their guidance, we are invited to explore the mysteries of existence and to deepen our understanding of our place in the universe. We are called to look beyond the surface of life and to seek the deeper truths that lie beneath. Angels, in their role as messengers and symbols of divine wisdom, invite us to embark on a journey of discovery, a journey that leads us beyond the material world and into the realm of the divine. Through their presence, we are reminded that there is always more to life than meets the eye, and that the path to understanding lies in our willingness to open ourselves to the mysteries of existence. Angels possess an influence that is often subtle, quiet, and elusive, yet it is profound and transformative. Unlike other beings in religious or spiritual traditions that demand attention or possess overwhelming power, angels tend to avoid the limelight, existing almost like whispers in the wind, unseen and unnoticed by the vast majority. They are not figures who make themselves known in dramatic fashion or demand acknowledgement for the work they do. Instead, they communicate with a gentle nudge, a guiding presence that often goes unnoticed until we reflect on the impact they've had on our lives. This influence, despite its quiet nature, has the potential to change the course of a person's life in ways that are profound and lasting. One of the most remarkable aspects of the influence of angels is that they do not seek to be seen. They do not demand our attention or our worship. In fact, their very existence challenged the human tendency toward self-centeredness, toward wanting to be noticed, praised, and acknowledged. Angels do not seek glory or recognition. Instead, they are selfless, serving a purpose far greater than their individual selves. Their primary goal is not to be celebrated, but to help guide humanity toward a higher truth. It is through this quiet and unassuming influence that angels often make their most profound impacts. Their messages and guidance may come in the form of a fleeting thought, a sudden feeling, or an unexpected sense of peace amidst turmoil. They are not loud or forceful. Instead, they work in the background, shaping events and circumstances in ways that we may not immediately recognize. When we look back on our lives, it is often the subtle guidance of angels that has directed us through pivotal moments, even when we were unaware of their presence. This subtlety is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of true strength. The ability to influence without demanding attention is a quality that reflects the divine wisdom angels carry. They do not need to shout or push us into action. Instead, their presence is felt deeply in moments of reflection, in moments of quiet, when we find ourselves contemplating a choice or direction. In these quiet moments, we may sense a higher purpose at play. The subtlety of angelic influence also reflects the nature of their role in the divine plan. Angels are not here to make choices for us or to take control of our lives. They are not authoritative figures, but rather gentle guides who offer us the freedom to choose our path. They influence us not by force, but by inspiring us to make choices that align with the greater good, to act in ways that reflect higher values, and to seek out truth, love, and compassion. The beauty of this influence is that it respects our autonomy while still offering us the guidance we need to make the right decisions. In a world that often prizes immediate gratification and external recognition, the quiet, subtle influence of angels offers a refreshing alternative. They show us that true power does not lie in forcing or commanding attention, but in working humbly in the background, offering guidance and support when needed, and allowing others the freedom to follow or reject that guidance. In this sense, angels embody the highest form of service, not by asserting their will, but by gently helping us to align our will with a greater purpose. Their influence is also felt not just in times of peace and clarity, but in moments of confusion, doubt, or distress. It is in these difficult times that their quiet presence can be the most comforting. When the world seems overwhelming and we feel lost, the influence of angels can guide us back to a place of understanding. It is not an overpowering force that tells us what to do, but a still, small voice that helps us regain our sense of direction. Their influence often arrives as a quiet reminder that we are not alone, that we are supported by forces greater than ourselves, and that we are capable of weathering any storm. The quiet influence of angels also serves as a reminder that not everything in life needs to be dramatic or attention-grabbing to be powerful. In fact, many of the most profound changes in our lives come from the subtle moments, the moments when we least expect them. In this sense, angels teach us that true transformation often happens in the quiet spaces between events, in the moments of stillness when we can hear our own hearts and souls. This subtle influence can be the catalyst for a deep and lasting change, one that may not be immediately apparent, but whose effects ripple throughout our lives. What makes the influence of angels even more powerful is the way in which it invites us to listen, to be still, to open our hearts and minds to the possibility of a high presence at work in our lives. In a world that is often noisy, chaotic, and fast-paced, angels remind us of the importance of stillness, of taking a moment to pause and listen. It is in this stillness that we can hear the subtle guidance they offer, and it is in this space that we allow their influence to transform us. Angels, in their timeless role, do not merely exist to guide and comfort us. They challenge us in ways that force us to rise above our circumstances and become more than we ever imagined possible. Far from being passive observers, angels actively participate in the unfolding of our lives, providing us with not just the solace of divine presence, but the stern encouragement to stretch beyond the limitations of our human nature. Their challenge is one of growth, transformation, and reaching for something higher than the ordinary experience of life. They hold up before us an image of what we might become if we live according to a greater purpose, a purpose that aligns with a higher, divinely ordained plan. The challenge that angels present is not one of cruelty or harshness, but one of love, urging us to overcome our fears, doubts, and weaknesses. It is through their influence that we are reminded that life is not simply about surviving, but about thriving and growing into the fullest expression of who we are meant to be. In the face of difficulties, angels are not merely there to remove obstacles, they are there to help us face them with courage and grace. They encourage us to rise above the trials and tribulations of life, to learn from adversity and to become better versions of ourselves through the struggles we encounter. It is in the crucible of hardship that angels challenge us to transcend the immediate pain and find the deeper lessons that these moments hold. Through their presence, we are urged to confront our own limitations, to question what holds us back, and to push past our comfort zones. This challenge is not always obvious. It is not always a clear directive or command. It might be a relationship that tests our patience, or a decision that seems daunting and uncertain. These moments, though difficult and uncomfortable, are the very places where angels are guiding us toward transformation. They ask us to trust in the process, to have faith in our ability to rise to the occasion, even when we are unsure of the outcome. The challenge that angels present is also a moral one. They call us to live with integrity, to be true to the highest version of ourselves. In a world that often rewards convenience, compromise, and self-interest, angels push us toward the path of righteousness, even when that path is difficult and unpopular. Their influence is a call to action, asking us to act in ways that honor our deepest values and commitments. This can be particularly challenging in moments when it would be far easier to take the easier route, to abandon our principles, or to follow the crowd. Angels call us to stand firm in the face of temptation and to make choices that align with our highest ideals, even when the world around us may not recognize or appreciate such efforts. In many ways, the challenges presented by angels are the very things that force us to confront our own fears. Fear is one of the greatest obstacles to growth, and yet it is in overcoming our fears that we often experience the most profound transformation. Angels understand this deeply. Their challenge to us is often a challenge to face our fears head-on. Whether it is the fear of failure, rejection, or even the unknown, angels encourage us to move forward despite the fear, to act in the face of uncertainty, and to trust in our own strength. They show us that fear does not have to paralyze us. It can be the very thing that propels us to take bold steps toward a greater future. In the midst of these challenges, angels offer a constant reminder that we are never alone. Their presence, though often unseen, is a source of strength. They do not expect us to face our challenges in isolation. They are with us, silently supporting us, offering us the courage to keep moving forward. It is this quiet companionship that enables us to push beyond what we thought were our limits. The challenge of living a life of purpose, of rising above the chaos of the world, is made less daunting by the knowledge that there are unseen forces helping us along the way. In this sense, angels do not just challenge us, they empower us to face the challenge, to rise above our own self-doubt, and to step into the fullness of who we are meant to be. The angels' challenge is not one of perfection, but of striving toward a higher ideal. It is not that they expect us to be without flaws or mistakes, but rather that we continually work to align our actions with a higher purpose. Angels ask us to reflect on the bigger picture, to live with an awareness that our lives are part of a much larger tapestry. They challenge us to ask not just what is best for us in the moment, but what is best for the greater good, what will ultimately lead to a more meaningful and purposeful life. Their challenge is also one of faith, faith that even when we do not understand the path ahead, we trust that it is leading us towards something greater. This requires surrendering control and embracing the unknown, trusting that every twist and turn in our journey is part of a larger design. It is in these moments of uncertainty that angels challenge us to lean into the mystery of life, to have faith that the difficulties we face are part of a greater story. They call us to move forward with courage, knowing that we are being guided even when we cannot see the way. The challenge angels present is ultimately about transformation, about changing the way we perceive ourselves, the world, and our place within it. They ask us to see beyond our immediate circumstances, to lift our eyes toward a higher calling, and to live lives that reflect not just our own desires, but the deeper truths that are woven into the fabric of the universe. Through their guidance, we are invited to rise above the limitations of our human nature and align ourselves with a divine purpose. It is through this alignment that we are able to experience true fulfillment and to fulfill the purpose for which we were created. In this way, angels challenge us not just to survive, but to thrive, to grow into the fullness of who we are meant to become. The true greatness that angels embody is not found in their ability to command, control, or even impress. It lies instead in their humble service and unwavering dedication to a higher purpose. Angels do not seek to glorify themselves or draw attention to their own existence. They operate with a quiet, selfless commitment to the divine plan, always putting the needs of others before their own. This humble approach to greatness stands in stark contrast to the way we often view success and power in the world. In human terms, greatness is often associated with accolades, recognition, and influence. However, the angels teach us that real greatness is not measured by what others see or praise, but by the depth of service one offers without expectation of reward or recognition. Angels do not act for personal gain or glory. Their existence is not about proving their power or ability to control the forces of the world. Instead, they show us that true strength is not in the ability to dominate or conquer, but in the ability to serve with integrity, devotion, and humility. The quiet, often unseen influence of angels serves as a powerful reminder that greatness is not defined by outward displays of power, but by the quiet and consistent dedication to the greater good. In their role as servants of the divine, angels are also agents of transformation. Their humble service does not only involve guiding and protecting, but also challenging those they interact with to rise to their own potential. They do not seek to impose their will upon others, but instead, they invite us to align with a higher purpose that is meant for our lives. Through their guidance, we are given the opportunity to grow into the fullness of who we are meant to be. This service is not limited to the physical or material world, but extends to the spiritual realm, where angels help us connect with the deeper truths of our existence. In this way, their greatness is not about what they achieve or accomplish, but about the ways in which they help us achieve a greater understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The humility of angels also offers a profound lesson in how we can approach our own lives. In a world that often prizes ambition, competition, and the desire for recognition, it can be difficult to understand the true value of humble service. Yet the example of angels teaches us that greatness is not found in the pursuit of personal glory, but in the willingness to serve others without expectation of reward. This kind of service requires a deep sense of selflessness and a commitment to something greater than oneself. When we embrace the quiet greatness of angels, we begin to understand that real fulfillment comes not from external accolades, but from the internal peace that arises from living in alignment with a higher purpose. Furthermore, the humility of angels teaches us the value of listening. In a world full of noise and distractions, it is easy to forget the importance of quiet reflection and attentiveness. Angels do not speak loudly or forcefully. They communicate with a soft, gentle presence, offering guidance in the most subtle of ways. In the same way, their humility calls us to listen closely to the deeper currents of life, to hear the whispers of truth that often go unnoticed in the hustle and bustle of daily life. Their greatness lies not in their ability to speak, but in their ability to influence through quiet presence and unwavering service. True greatness, as angels embody, is also reflected in their ability to stay true to their purpose, even in the face of hardship or adversity. Angels do not falter in their commitment to the divine plan, even when it requires sacrifice or perseverance. This unwavering dedication to their role, regardless of external circumstances, is another mark of their greatness. In our own lives, we may face moments of doubt, uncertainty, or difficulty, but the example of angels reminds us that true greatness is found in our ability to remain committed to our higher purpose, even when the path is not easy. It is through these moments of perseverance that we grow, evolve, and come closer to living the life we are meant to lead. The quiet greatness of angels is also a reflection of the deep peace that comes with service. When we live with humility and service at the forefront of our lives, we are not driven by the need for external validation or success. Instead, we are content with the simple knowledge that we are fulfilling our higher purpose. This peace is not dependent on what others think of us or what we accomplish in the eyes of the world, but on the internal satisfaction that comes from knowing we are acting in alignment with something much greater than ourselves. Angels, in their humble service, embody this peace, teaching us that true greatness is found not in the pursuit of recognition, but in the quiet fulfillment of a higher calling. The lesson of angels teaches us that greatness, when viewed through the lens of humility, is not about what we achieve for ourselves, but about what we offer to others and to the greater good. Their example calls us to examine our own motivations and to ask ourselves whether we are seeking glory for our own sake or striving to contribute to something that transcends our individual desires. True greatness, as demonstrated by the angels, is not a matter of being noticed or admired, but of living a life of service, devotion, and unwavering commitment to a purpose that is greater than ourselves. In this way, we are reminded that the most powerful form of greatness is not found in the external world, but in the quiet, humble service that transforms both ourselves and the world around us.